just does not make any sense. Behind me is the new Mercedes-AMG GLE 53 4MATIC Plus. It is a mid-size performance SUV from the house of AMG. This is a facelifted version of the second generation model that was launched back in 2020. The exterior changes are, well, quite minimal, but it is the interior and the tech where it has got a major overhaul. So what it is all about, let us find out. If you haven't subscribed to the Carandbike channel, do subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our updates. With the second generation, the AMG GLE really got a new look which was intimidating, and it had serious presence on the road. With the facelift, it just continues from there, and as you can see, it still looks butch, it still has a very strong presence, and the whole point of a coupe SUV has really grown on us. While it may be difficult to notice the changes at first glance, you may have to keep the cars side by side to really notice where it is all coming from. So let us have a look. So if you come to the front, you can notice the grille is very familiar with the same AMG slits that you can see from top to bottom. The headlamps, again, the shape is more or less the same, but the interior design has changed completely. The DRLs and the eyebrows are now only on the top, and it is a multi-beam headlamp now, which is very clever. It also has high beam assist as standard. The bumpers are all new, again similar layout, but it is made to look such that it gives a slightly upward or a slightly vertical look to the entire car, which is good for an SUV. But if you still have trouble noticing the changes, well, just come to the logo here. It has the new AMG logo with a falter back written on it. When you come to the side of the AMG GLE, you realize that how long it is. It's almost 5 meters long, 2 meters tall. The ground clearance stays at 190 mm. If you notice are the alloy wheels. This one gets 21 inches as standard. There is optional 22 inches as well. There are in all 4 alloy wheel designs that Mercedes is offering with the new AMG GLE 53. At the rear, the tail lamp is more or less the same shape. However, the interior design has changed. There is a nice AMG spoiler lip, as well as the bumpers are now redesigned. As with the facelifted GLE, the GLE Coupe also gets a slew of new features inside the car, and this is where a lot of action is. The interiors overall looks quite plush and premium, and you can't help but notice that you are in a Mercedes-Benz with the kind of treatment they've done with the chrome finishes, the plastics, the wood veneers, the leather. It's all top quality. The changes starts from the steering wheel. You get a new AMG steering wheel. It's a 3-spoke design with more buttons than you can handle immediately, and the touch screen has a lot of new features also. Dashboard gets elements from the GLS Maybach, especially if you see the kind of design that the air vents have. The screen also has an option for sound personalization. There is now also an air balance package which helps you maintain the sort of aroma that you want in your cabin. A cool new feature is the temperature controlled cup holder, and there also is now 100-watt Type-C chargers at both the front as well as the rear for quick charging of your electronics. The leather, as I mentioned earlier, looks top class, but it is actually Artico man-made leather and not genuine leather. Heads-up display, an MBUX multimedia system, and of course Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. For passenger comfort, there is also climatized front seats, 4-way lumbar support. The seats are nice and plush, and there are as many as 8 different variants to choose from. Panoramic sliding sunroof is again standard. There are 6 paint color options with the AMG GLE 53, and additional 3 are from the manufacturer palette, which is the custom design arm of Mercedes-Benz. With the sloping roofline of the GLE Coupe, you would expect it to be cramped. Well, I can tell you it's not really cramped. Yes, there is less space than a SUV version of the GLE, but it seems enough to me. This is my seating position, and as you can see, I have ample knee room. There is place to keep your feet under the front seat. The under thigh support seems adequate, and so is the backrest angle. Also impressive is the headroom. Despite the fact that it's rear sloping, the cargo space has reduced a little, but that is expected. It is still a healthy 650 litre plus boot that you can use. Now, one grouse that I had with a lot of German cars, especially Mercedes, was the AC at the rear. Now, what they have done with the new generation cars is not only do you have vents onto the B pillar, but you also have vents right here in the center console. So that's a good thing for the passengers, and also there are controls where you can change the speed of the fan. So that's a nice touch. Plus additionally, two Type-C charging ports, which are 100-watt fast charging ports. So again, handy if you have a lot of electronics that you need to charge on the go. This is powered by a 3-litre bi-turbo engine. It was a similar size engine even with the pre-facelift model. But more importantly, it has an integrated starter generator that helps give it an additional boost close to 200 Newton meters. And that is very important in the overall performance aspect of this car. 0 to 100 will come in a mere 5 seconds, which is fast for any SUV. Proof of the pudding though is in the driving, so let's find out. But the AMG GLE 53 really turns things around. It is a SUV coupe, plus it is a performance vehicle. It's unbelievable. The first thing that you notice when you start off is how big this car feels. Yes, you are sitting high, but you definitely know that this is a long car. But it doesn't take time to get accustomed to it. Tiny spaces, of course, made easier by the 360-degree camera. Just like the pre-facelift model, this too has a 9-speed torque converter kind of transmission. It's probably one of the fastest torque converter shifts I've ever seen in any car. If you want a bit more oral magic, well, just put it in Sport. There is Sport Plus as well, which really improves the overall feedback from the transmission as well as the steering wheel. While this may not be the quickest AMG out there, it probably is one of the most comfortable. The ride is one of the most sorted ones. Of course, it is still a bit on the stiffer side, and bad roads will mean that you can get thrown around a bit. Mind you, the car rides on large 21-inch wheels. While it may come at a bit on the expense of comfort, I would definitely recommend, and I'm sure most AMG owners would love to do this, is drive this in Sport Plus mode. The nice afterbark from the exhaust is really cool to hear. While 0 to 100 in 5 seconds sounds like a big deal, it's the way it happens. Steering is amazingly precise, just a slight turn and you know exactly where your wheels are. It's a big car, mind you, but if you want to do quick lane changes, it obeys your order without any hesitation. Is there a flip side to all the fun? Most definitely, because you will get probably 6 or max 7 kilometers to the liter. The AMG version of the GLE Coupe came to India in a 43 spec. Later on, with the next generation model coming in, Mercedes introduced it in 53. This was back in 2020. Later on, we also got the 63S, which was a more violent and wilder version of the GLE Coupe. With the redesign, it's only getting the relatively milder 53 spec, but I can tell you it's pretty wild. Now, I don't understand the point of why bother to make an SUV look like a coupe, or why give insane amounts of performance to what is essentially an all-terrain utility vehicle. But the AMG GLE 53 really turns things around. It is a SUV coupe, plus it is a performance vehicle. It's unbelievable. It just does not make any sense. And that is probably its best part and worth all the hype and worth all the money. It makes you feel special, it makes you feel exclusive, and that is probably what any AMG owner wants.